Romance novels are not a substitute for sex education. Whenever the discussion about teenagers reading smut comes up, someone ends up making this argument that sex ed is important, ergo, teens should read what they want. Look, I was a sheltered religious homeschooler who grew up in a rural area. If I wanted to use a computer, I had to drive into town and go to the library. Most of my sex education came from romance novels that I read after college. And that worked out, but do you know why? Because I fact checked everything. Most people just in general do not fact check, and I am reminded of that every time I log onto the internet. Reading romance novels is not a substitute for sex education any more than watching Grey's Anatomy is a substitute for a medical degree. If you want to talk about the need for comprehensive sex ed, let's talk about it. If you want to talk about why censorship is bad, let's talk about that too. There are a lot of good, evidence-based arguments to support both opinions. Most parents severely overestimate how sheltered their children are. Many women like me who grew up in purity culture have found reading romance novels to be very liberating. Some people have found romance novels to be very helpful for some aspects of their sex education. But here's the deal. Education is not a romance author's job. You cannot expect every spicy scene in every romance novel to perfectly illustrate communication, consent, safe sex every time. There is going to be some variation, and that is why you still need comprehensive sex ed in addition to whatever media you are consuming. Maybe that's the same argument these people were trying to make. Maybe I am saying the same thing just with a lot more asterisks. But a lot of times, romance gets held to a much higher standard than other genres. Like, we are constantly expected to morally justify our genre's existence in a way that no other genre is. I have never seen any news outlet ask if mystery novels are encouraging murder. But damn, do they like to ask if we're encouraging toxic relationships. It is not a fiction author's job to write about perfect people in perfect situations. And we seem to understand this with every other genre except romance. And implying that we should also be educating your teenagers about sex is just... I don't like that.